A U.S.-brokered ceasefire between Israel and Hamas is supposed to create a path toward a terror-free zone, with the disarmament of Hamas as a core expectation. The shooting has eased, but the war's front lines are still drawn, sometimes literally. On an embed with the Israel Defense Forces, a group of journalists accompanied by Lieutenant Colonel Nadav Shoshani from the IDF spokesperson's unit entered Gaza through the Kisufim area to see what Israel says it is facing near the boundary between Israeli positions and Hamas-held territory.
So just before we start, a few guidelines. One, anyone who goes in needed to sign the forms and needs to have a helmet and a vest. When you go in, follow the guidelines by the forces. If there's any incident, the rule of thumb is go down, put your hands on the head, stay safe. Don't try and fight. There's people who know how to fight. They will do the fighting for us if needed. You can film anything you want except for the military bases and the soldiers' faces.
Shoshani then laid out the geography. One of the key reference points he kept returning to was the yellow line, a clearly marked line on the ground that functions as a forward boundary separating areas Israel controls from Hamas-controlled Gaza beyond it. Israel says it uses the space on its side of the line as a buffer to detect and stop attempted attacks.
This is where we are. This is the Kisufim crossing. Across of Kisufim is Dir el-Balach, central camps. We will be going to an IDF post across Dir el-Balach, a few hundred meters from the yellow line.
The group traveled along a route inside Gaza between the international border and the yellow line, stopping first at a humanitarian aid depot.
Right now we are in Gaza, within the international borderline, and this is aid that has been approved and tested and checked and inspected by Israeli authorities, and now waiting to be picked up by the international community. Usually this is the situation that the depot on the Israeli side is empty and the depot here is waiting to be picked up.
From there, the journalists went to an IDF position overlooking the yellow line.
We are in an IDF post a few hundred meters from the yellow line, differentiating between the Hamas-controlled Gaza and the Israeli-controlled Gaza. We're overlooking the yellow line that is marked in a very clear way here. And we are here looking and observing, making sure that Hamas and its terrorists do not cross over the yellow line and try and carry out attacks against our troops, as they have done multiple times just this week. Our second mission here in this post and in this area is to find terror tunnels and to thwart them, explore them, and then dismantle them in any way we can, and make sure that we are removing all the Hamas threats from across the yellow line. Well, that's a live incident that I'm not sure what's happening, and I can check on it later and give you the information. Might be a violation or some sort of terrorist crossing the yellow line and troops responding. It could also be procedure when you begin a shift guarding, you make sure your weapon is working. I'd have to check when we finish the interview.
Shoshani said Hamas activity near the line is constant, describing repeated attempts to approach or cross and efforts to rebuild capabilities.
Hamas is very active all through Gaza and trying to cross the yellow line on a daily basis, trying to target our troops on a daily basis, try to carry out attacks on a daily basis. That is something that we are seeing every day. They're trying to rearm. We found tunnels here, we found explosive devices here, we found new weapons that they have deployed in this area, and we see their activity. We've seen snipers from those buildings right there. There could be a Hamas sniper firing at our troops.
He argued the ceasefire's next hurdle is disarmament.
The next step is disarmament. The first sentence in the 20-point peace plan, the ceasefire plan, says Gaza will be a terror-free zone. That is the next step. Hamas right now is the only thing standing between both sides moving forward in this good agreement.
The embed takes place against a broader debate over access. Many journalists say limits on entering Hamas-controlled areas restrict independent reporting from verifying damage to speaking freely with residents. Press freedom groups argue embeds offer a view but cannot replace open access. Israel says the battlefield remains too dangerous, citing active combat zones, unexploded ordnance, tunnels, and kidnapping risks, along with the need to protect troops and operations. Critics respond that tight control creates an information bottleneck, leaving audiences to see the war through narrow, curated perspectives.
I'm an IDF spokesperson. I'm in charge of Embed's 2 IDF operations, and I bring reporters with me to see IDF troops almost on a weekly basis. A lot of reporters, as we brought in a group today, and I plan on keep doing it as long as I can.
Do you know how many reporters until now, until it was allowed to enter in the Gaza Strips?
Hundreds of reporters.
From the yellow line in the Gaza Strip, Dario Sanchez reporting for the Media Line.